Welcome to the Inspire podcast. I'm your host, Jason Diamond Arnold. I'm here with our CEO, Chris Wollerman of Inspire Software. Chris, thanks for coming back today to talk about how executive leaders can utilize AI to help them develop a strategy and implement that strategy and execute that strategy effectively. There's a lot of research out there that shows for years that this isn't a new business challenge. There's always been a big business challenge between when you set a strategy for an organization and then actually successfully creating and executing a winning strategy. So, Chris, thanks for being back here today.
Happy to be back. Looking forward to the next conversation in the series.
That leads us, Chris, to today is that now that we have the strategy and we have corporate level OKRs, some department goals and OKRs, team OKRs, maybe even some individual goals or OKRs. The next step that you have really promoted and that we promote through the Inspire platform is the plan towards those OKRs. Talk to us a little bit. I want to just set this up front. I think this is important for listeners to know the differences that in OKRs, you have an objective, which is a qualitative statement, and then you have key results, which are quantitative results. A lot of people think that the quantitative results are like, okay, those are the tasks, you go do those quantitative results, or you don't. But you kind of have a different opinion on, okay, once the OKRs or your goals are set, there needs to be some consistent, rigorous planning towards achieving those OKRs. Talk a little bit about the difference between key results and KPIs and actual tasks that you plan towards, like in a weekly cadence.
Sure. Key results are intended to be formatted from X to Y. So having a starting point, sometimes you don't know the X, so you need to set it to achieve a certain milestone to understand what your baseline is. And then maybe the next quarter you go from X to Y. But it's really an improvement plan, right, for each of the things you're measuring, whereas a KPI is more monitoring the health, right? So you've got KPIs are like your car dashboard where you're able to see everything. Hopefully everything's healthy and good. And then if something is indicating a problem like oil, then that could turn into an OKR, like, okay, I need to fix this, right? And that's I think a good analogy for when an OKR is needed is I need to go get back in a healthy state. So so getting key results and really focusing on what's the outcome first, what is the main thing by the end of the period, whether it's a quarter or however frequency that you're measuring, but what's the outcome, right? And then having other key results that are going to be more leading indicators that are going to help predict and influence you towards that outcome. Because a lot of times the key result outcome doesn't happen until way later in the period, right? Sometimes the last few weeks of the quarter. So it can be kind of demotivating if you're seeing 0% all the way through the quarter until the end. So you got to be measuring other things. In fact, we're having a strategy review later this morning where we do have some of the quarterly key results that are still sitting there, knowing that there's a lot of work going on. So we're able to kind of look at those and understand that good work's happening and it is predicting that we'll be successful. Don't give up. And that's always another part of the whole OKR process is people can get a little demotivated if they don't see things moving quick enough. Talk a little bit about, everything we've done so far in those first 3 episodes, where all we've really done is gotten to the starting line. Think about it in a race and all the work you do and training and prep and getting to that race day. That's just set, like getting all the OKR set. And then now when we're in that first week of execution, it's like the gun goes off and it's the planning frequency. What we find, and I know we'll get into this throughout the episode here, but just at a high level, setting it at a weekly level assures that you're going to stay engaged, right? So you're once you have your OKR set, and we're off to the race. And now it's a plan and execute week after week.
So how did you get into it's interesting. I'll set some context for our listeners. When I came to Inspire Software, I thought that, I had a good, I'd come in on Mondays, I'd know in my mind what I was gonna do. I would go out and do it. I had goals that were set. They were like in a Word document back at this time. Because I kind of had a knowledge of what I was doing. When I got to Inspire, and we consistently use weekly planning where we come in. I call it thank God it's Monday, or thank goodness it's Monday, because you come in and Mondays can be daunting if you've got a lot to do or you've had a great weekend and now you got to try to get into the work week. But we really try to encourage our team and clients to plan on a weekly basis. And it's not just a random plan, it's not just a traditional task list, it's tasks towards these goals that are set, whether it's the team goal, whether it's your personal goal, whether it's something the department's pursuing, and then those goals are then aligned to the strategy. How did you get into weekly planning being such an important part of your workflow?
Yeah, I was fortunate to have graduated college in '89, same year that Stephen Covey's Seven Habits came out. And as I was interviewing that summer, I found that book and read it, and really tried to apply it. And it helped me through my early career and just kept getting stronger throughout. And the thing I like about Covey is he says throughout all, even in his book and in his keynotes and discussions, he didn't invent these habits. They've been around for ages. He's just kind of put a framework around it. And so it's really based on habit three, which is put first things first. And his approach and the company that he formed, Franklin Covey, we taught for years and still do. Onboarding is, they now have a program called the Five Choices of Extraordinary Productivity, and it's based on the same habit three principles with some modern day look at it. But it really is, like, when you look at most people in industry, and each of the habits is a paradigm shift, right? So meaning you need to look at it a new way. Most people do not look at it this way. So I think the most common thing you see is people show up Monday morning to work and they go to their inbox, right? And as soon as you go to your inbox, you're no longer thinking about your plan, you're reacting to other people's
Mhm.
plans. And then you just react, and sometimes that becomes your whole morning if you go there. So you get stuck in what they call the whirlwind, where it's just tasks are coming at you and you're putting out fires and you're going, and you're never going to execute on your strategy and your goals that way. So if you start off where you're stepping back, and Mondays are a great way. I tend to do a lot on Sunday as well, just to sleep better on Sunday night, knowing I got a big week ahead, and just put a few ideas down. But thinking about reflecting on those goals that you set and the roles and responsibilities that you have. Step one is just really reconnecting with what did you plan to do in the first place, and looking at those key results, and then going into the really the main most important piece of it is planning the big rock tasks, right? What's the one or two most important thing I can do this week to make progress on some of these key results? And don't try to put a full plan together like I'm going to do 10 tasks. Just like what's the one or two most important things? Mark those as top priority so you can see them stand apart from all the rest of the stuff that's going on, and then schedule that, put that on your calendar, because each goal, I mean, you might have three, five, or hopefully not too many more goals than that, but getting your top priority, top three goals, having 6 or 8 key tasks planned total
Mhm.
as your, what can I really pull off this week? And that approach I've been using, however many years it's been, since '89, I guess almost 40. And and it's just worked well for me and my organizations. We've made it a standard that just said, "Hey, just take 5 or 10 minutes every week and plan those big rocks, schedule them, and then, I know we'll talk more about how the rest of the week flows here a little bit, but it's a great starting point.
Yeah. It's been a game changer. It's been a game changer for me in my career just to be intentional about it and really get focused. It helps, really prepare those weeks. It's interesting you mentioned like you started this in 1989 after graduation. Now here we are in 2026, and I don't want to date it, but like anything we say, I feel like by the time we publish this, something else is going to dramatically change because
Yeah.
it's moving so fast. But talk about the difference between not necessarily back in 1989, but talk about how AI is impacting this planning. Like there's some really cool tools that we've developed within Inspire related to the goals. How has AI impacted that planning discipline that you've been doing for so many years?
Yeah. Well, the beauty of the big rocks planning is it's principle based, right? And principles never change. It's kind of like the law of gravity, right? If you can believe in it or not, but it's there. And the same thing is true with these principles around things like big rock planning. So no matter what new tools come on the market, it's going to always be a good practice. And so the beauty of AI now is you can really take it to challenge you, work as a strategic partner, and have it look at your OKRs and what progress has been made or lack of progress, and talk through with the AI partner, what would be some good big rocks this week. And I'm continually amazed on the suggestions that I get that are sometimes beyond what I would have come up with on my own. And it's just again improving the quality, not necessarily the time it takes in this example, but it does do a good job of analyzing like your whole last week, where all the meetings I was in, all the emails I sent, all the teams chats and conversations, and the different tasks that I did and didn't do. And it's got all that knowledge. And now I go into this week clean, and I got a weekly briefing agent now, and a daily morning briefing, and an afternoon closeout. And all those things work in concert with that knowledge partner who's pretty on top of everything that's been going on with all my sent emails and emails that have come in since the last time we checked. And so you don't have to really go through that and as your first thing. And that's where one of the areas where AI really can help.
Yeah, context as in what's your role, maybe what's your industry, what's the values of the company, what are even your personal values. The more it gets to know who you are, it can help give you more specific ideas. And again, it's a draft. It's for you to look at, review, and then you're making the decisions. I'd like to dig into that a little bit deeper right there, so that you mentioned that there are team meetings, and whether it's at the executive level, department level, team level, or even one-to-one. We're big promoters of one-to-one meetings. You have these conversations, you talk about challenges, and then a to-do list, a task list, action items that come out of meetings. And what we have found is that in our notes, we'll post them in our team notes, and in the one-to-one notes and conversations, so that we can not only go back and look at them, but then we can see what tasks that we're going to do, within this week or by next week, based on the conversation we had. Talk a little bit in layman's terms, because I know that you've got this engineering developer mind, even as a CEO. In layman's terms, what are some of the things that are developing in terms of those notes actually turning into action items within the system?
Yeah. Yeah. So I think it comes back to planning out and making sure, I think at the beginning of your week, you're looking at your team OKR, and hopefully like most teams that are working close together really should only have like one, we call it the wildly important goal, the top thing. And so that should be, what am I planning to do? Scheduling that out. And then within either that first day of the week or at least by the second day of the week, the teams getting together to talk through what did I accomplish last week. Each team member goes, right? You look at your key results and kind of everybody acknowledges what's moving, what's not moving. But then you move into this round table, whether it's on your team's meeting or at the conference table, and the leader goes first. And here's what I got done last week, and here's what I'm planning this week, and here's where I need some help from somebody if there's help needed. Then it goes on to the next team member, and everybody accounts for, and they call this the cadence of accountability. And it's a quick meeting. Don't go into deep dive discussions and rabbit holes because that can derail and cause people, again, demotivate people if you don't keep it like snappy. But it's really intended just for that quick conversation. I got this done. Here's what I'm planning. Here's where I need help. Next person. Then the meeting's recorded. Even if you're in a conference room, you can turn on Teams to capture all that. That gets captured. Any accounting like action items go into those notes, the whole conversation notes. And as you're planning the agenda for next week and helping plan, again, in that weekly planning AI briefing that you get, you should have all those already captured in there. So you don't go into that team meeting like, oh, I forgot. Sorry, didn't have time, that kind of thing that happens quite a bit in reality. And the thing I think it's important at the leadership level is you've got to acknowledge that things are happening, with whether it's client support tickets coming in and other what we call high urgency items are coming in ahead of what you plan to do. It's another week. It's a new week. Let's get it on the calendar. Let's prioritize it, and let me know how I can help you clear the path or help you execute that. So it's more of a supporting type of environment versus you're in trouble because and that'll also kill that cadence meeting too. If there's a lot of negative concern and things, just keep it flowing, appreciate and recognize the good work that's happening and support them to make more progress.
I think that's part of the beauty too, also of doing it within a platform like Inspire, is that as people are doing check-ins and they're having one-to-ones and they're having accountability meetings with their teams, that is all being fed into a system that creates what we like to call warm data or qualitative data, where we've been heavily reliant at looking at the quantitative numbers at the top. Are we hitting our numbers? And that's extremely important. That's the top priority. But we don't always know why these check-ins, these conversations, these meetings, this planning towards tasks creates these stories within the company that feeds that larger strategy narrative. And when you pull it all together, it gives you some rich insights. Chris, you gave us a lot to think about. I really appreciate that you're not just someone that has seen some need in the market and went out and created, but you have done this for many, many years. You have a lot of experience. If you want more information from Chris, if you want any support in either having some of these ideas demoed for you, or we offer consulting and coaching services as well at Inspire Software. If you're thinking about how to set something up like this in your organization, please feel free to reach out to us at inspiresoftware.com. We'll leave information in the description. Thanks for joining us today, Chris. Thanks for being here and sharing all of your insights and building this amazing product in an amazing time. It's a wild ride right now.
Yep, certainly an exciting time. And just go book a demo. And even if you don't want a software demo, you just want to talk and get some advice, ask for me, and I'm happy to give you guys some guidance and some ideas. Happy to talk through with you.
Sounds good. Thanks, everyone.
All right.